Morning, everybody. This is Marie Fertoni with Get Clients Everywhere at getclientseverywhere.com. And I am here to take some time to share with a friend of mine and one of our great authors in the newest book that we've got out that's called Inspiring Women Living Unstoppably with Purpose, Power, and Passion. And we're excited about this because I'm doing these interviews with all of the authors so that you can get a chance to get a little taste of them, go back and read their chapters, connect with them, because they have done such a great job. Especially now, the world needs things that will help people to be resilient, unstoppable, keep going despite all the noise that's out there. So I'm happy to introduce you to my friend Paige Nathan. Paige, welcome.
Good morning.
I'm so glad that you were a part of this book and said yes, because you have such a great story. And, I just love what you're up to. I've always really loved that. Well, first of all, I like food, so that's fun. And I like travel and culture and all of that, so it's fun. So we're like, a match made in heaven. But Paige is the founder of Simply Food Trucks at simplyfoodtrucks.com. So you might think, wow, food trucks, like that could be really fun. I see them. I almost went to an event, the other day. And what she does is she is committed to providing seamless and delicious events for business, meeting planners, and she's worked with film production companies, big companies that are having events that she can come in and she can organize that part so that everybody is happy and joyful and well fed. How did I do?
Well said. Good
Well
job.
said and well fed. It's good. Um, Tell me about you're a board member. I don't want to mess up the name because it's in French, but it's you know what I mean.
It's very fancy and it's a lot of fun and food. It's La Dames de Escoffier, the Atlanta chapter. It's an international organization that I was a wannabe for many years. I went to their events, their wonderful events with chefs and culinary folks in food and wine, and I became a member about 3 years ago, and now I'm on the board helping to plan programs. So we can be the creators of our destiny. The organization's mission is philanthropic, and it is to support young women to advance in the culinary world. So it's very near and dear to my heart. And one more thing that I will add to it is that I think years ago it was started as a counterpart that the world was full of male chefs. And so it was the female chefs. But it has evolved into people all across the board in the culinary world. And how wonderful that a food truck entrepreneur such as myself is now a part of this esteemed and fun organization.
Isn't that great? It's like, we always, I think, like I never intended to do what I'm doing, and maybe you didn't intend to quite do what you're doing, but there's something about life's adventures where you just keep taking the next step, taking the next step, taking the next step. And then what we've done is we look back, we've really created this beautiful synergistic tapestry of life that has really provided a lot of very positive impact for our clients and our communities. So, it's really great. I want to focus a little bit on your chapter. The name of Paige's chapter in the book is called A Journey of Connection. And I think right now, this is just my opinion, but it's based in a lot of conversations and research and reading that I've been doing. There seems to be a very, very big need and a want for connection, human connection, being with people. We know what it was like when events stopped, right? That was a scary time. That was a hard time
Not fun at all.
for a
I
lot of
have my
people.
scars, but they are healed, and I am, better than ever.
That's so great. You know, um, Yeah, we all did that. So, you began your love for culture and food and adventure at a very early age when you kind of were blessed by your parents and you studied abroad in Spain. And, I would have loved to have done something like that. And then you visited Michelin restaurants. So, you've really had a great background that has always been involved in food and culture. What did food and culture provide for you, like growing up on your mission of life?
Great question. And I really do want to reiterate the kudos to my parents. I'm an only child, and I think because of it, my mom, who is a big role model for me, as is my dad in a quieter way, but was always about connection, always about try this, try that, and bringing international guests into our house. And I don't know where I got the idea to study abroad. Unfortunately, my parents were able to support that, but as anyone who has traveled knows, once you go, you never want to stop. And I guess that's kind of from age 19 on. And I think in my house, the language of love was food. My mom worked full time, but every night, usually at 7:30 or 8, when most people are winding down, she put, a homemade meal on the table. And she also did what I now do mostly, although I wish I lived in Europe, is she went to the store every day and she bought fresh food. And that was, she said, when I went back to work, I was going to treat myself to nice grocery stores. And so that was how we connected. And I have continued to do that. And now I've shared it. I would love to add the number up, but I mean, it's in the hundreds of thousands of people that we have fed through wonderful efforts of our food truck partners and caterers.
It's so great. I mean, I kind of grew up in a similar way where, both my parents worked, but, food was there. I have friends that come to my house and they laugh because they'll open my refrigerator and they'll say, "Oh my God, you have so much food." I'm like, "I'm Italian." I mean, I don't know. It's
Right.
like, even though it's just me that's here, it's like kind of funny that, I'm used to an abundance, that abundanza of things like that, um, and have been to many food truck events. And they are just fun, especially when you've got multiple ones that are out there. I mean, how did you like get into the food truck business? Say a little bit about that because I'm sure there
Sure.
were some moments of being unstoppable in that journey.
Sure. And I vividly remember this. My background is in fundraising and special events. So, of course, it did always include some form of food. But I was looking to make a transition into something more culinary. And it was in February about 12 years ago, we went to a food truck park. I dragged my family. It was a chilly February afternoon. There were probably, 10 food trucks, fire pits, music, and it just fed my soul. And I loved the color and having sort of a fun, brain that goes in lots of different directions, the food and the frenzy and the people. And long story short, I Googled food truck Atlanta and I met these entrepreneurs. And this is just a boon for Atlanta. Their business was about, 5 minutes from my house. So I was like, in the Jewish Hebrew word bashert, it was meant to be. It didn't happen overnight, but the other expression that I live by is success breeds success. And these were successful entrepreneurs. They didn't have a lot to offer me in the way of monetary compensation, but they were going to give me carte blanche to network and pay for my networking. And I was like, I had even said to the universe if I could get paid to network. So I'm not saying that the magic happened right away, but the seed was planted. And as I mentioned earlier, my business will be 10 years old in 2026.
That's really great. Congratulations for
Thank
that.
you. Thank you.
In your chapter, you do a nice job, I think, of kind of outlaying, just how things just kind of rolled along and one thing led to the next and one thing led to the next, which I think is really true for all of us. But in the book, um, what you talk about is that you use your skills to bridge food trucks to the corporate world. I mean, so because of your networking and great communication skills and, just your warm heart, I mean, you've been able to make a difference with things like that. And you probably have been surprised about some of the connections that you've made in all of that. How is it now? I think what you do is you really work mostly with event planners and meeting planners. Is that
Mhm.
correct?
Yes, the bigger the better for us.
The bigger, the better.
The biggest
And
event we've done is 10,000 people. I'm not saying that's what I want to do every day, but to have, 500 or 1,000 people is just a value add and good for us as well.
and these are mostly corporate events, yes, or municipal events.
Yes, no, primarily corporate. We are nationwide now. I am proud to say, again, that
Great.
happened from saying yes organically. One of my clients does grand openings all over the country. And now we've added some other clients to that portfolio. So we've done events from, Georgia to Hawaii and everywhere in between.
I just love that. It's like it's so fun when you just see. when you I don't know, I think when people keep saying yes, when the universe is providing signs, God is providing signs, it's like, let's do this. I mean,
Yes.
I look at myself and I think I've kind of followed a lot of signs. I sometimes kick myself when I've had the sign and I haven't followed it, and it's made things a little bit hard. But I've been unstoppable in just moving forward with things like that, as you have. I think one of the things that I want to presence for those people that are listening or viewing this video is that you talked about several things that were, I think, highlights. One of them was like, I'll just say what some of them are so people can get the flavor of it. But things that made a difference for you in terms of how you like to, like, it's almost like your values. But one is connection. You know, you're a great person. You're great to be with. You're great to talk to. Always great to kibitz with.
Well, thanks.
Nurturing relationships. I think so many times today, we don't take the time to nurture relationships because, quote unquote, we're so busy. And then a lot of times in business, we're trying to go to different events and we're being sold things where people don't even know your name. You know, it's kind of funny.
I'm a big Seinfeld fan, and there was one episode where George said, I wish everybody would wear name tags. And
I
I'm
know,
all
right?
about that. And maybe
It's,
something about themselves.
yeah, that's really good because, you know, sometimes people don't know us. And even in this book, I've shared this a couple of times. Um, some of the people that are in the book know each other, and they've known each other for a number of years. And they will read the person's chapter and they'll go, "Oh my gosh, I've known them for years and I didn't even really know them. How did I not know that about them?" Because people just really were open and sharing, and vulnerability is a great way of making connections and being willing to share stories that might uplift and empower people. Making a difference, one of your values. It's one of my values. I look at my core values with things like that. I mean, we're like kindred spirit here, you know?
Definitely.
How is it? What does making a difference do for you?
Well, I'm just going to back up a little. When I started the business, the actual legal name is Food with Purpose because that was what I created my LLC to be. And my idea was to use my fundraising and event planning skills to food related causes, food security. There's some great organizations with farmers and all of that. And I did some events, but I couldn't really monetize it enough, of course, because they want volunteers. And so during the pandemic, we rebranded to more accurately represent what we do. But we also have Simply Giving. And that is my heartfelt part of my company. We support different organizations, and really it's all about partnerships. We're doing a volunteer appreciation for Meals on Wheels later this month. We work with the Giving Kitchen, which supports restaurant workers who have been in hard times. We can give back to schools. So that's what makes my heart sing. But as you know, as a businesswoman and entrepreneur, like, why not make money too? I mean, we can have it all.
We can have it all. We have to work at it all. And that's where I think being unstoppably living our lives is important because, there's always going to be roadblocks and there's always going to be those cement barriers that get in our way. And we've certainly had things happen in our world where we've had to, as the world made up that word, or they didn't make up the word, but they used it a lot, was pivoting, and how do we follow and to go, it's like water flows, and to be able to do that, being open-minded, how would you say that people can, if they open their mind, what happens for them in that? So I think that's a great message.
Yes, and I want to go back to something you mentioned. It's like taking the time to have conversations with people. I look at my business like a three-legged stool. I obviously need my clients, and I love them all. And many times they're people who've never planned an event before, so we're holding their hands. I love my food truck partners. I couldn't have my business without them. And they all have different stories. They weren't born with a food truck. Some of them are family run, some of them are second careers. They have specialty items that they're so proud of, but then they're also learning to be business people. And then I have my partners, all the other people in the event industry that we can help enhance events. We have something called a Jambulance, which is a mobile DJ. Love adding them. We have people who have fun outdoor furniture. So it's taking the time to get to know people more and seeing what their direction is. Sometimes we're all in different spaces. I mean, Started out, I'd say yes to everything. And now we really are primarily corporate. Weddings are a different animal. I will help people connect, but that's not our bread and butter. We really love doing big corporate events and giving back to the community, but you don't necessarily become clear overnight. You have to trial and error. And also, for me, I feel fortunate to do what makes my heart sing. As corny as that sounds, it's true.
Corny is good. Yeah, it doesn't sound corny at all to me. You also talk about right people, right roles, and perseverance. You know, these are all from her chapter, by the way.
Oh my gosh. Well, yes, that's that. The perseverance is, kudos to my mom who can sometimes drive me crazy with it because she has persevered to the end, but sometimes you have to. My husband, on the other hand, helps me know when to let go, but definitely keeping your eye on the prize, sometimes trying things a different way. And oh my God, right people on the right bus. I mean, there is a book with that kind of title. And again, that doesn't happen overnight and it could change. But right now, I have a wonderful team of people. The finance is handled by somebody else. Even a lot of the marketing is handled. I mean, I really spend a lot of my time cultivating relationships, looking for opportunities. We just hired a regional person in the Northeast because we can't do everything. I have somebody who helps to write the blog. But it's also, yeah, kind of knowing what you need and being open to that could change. I have learned also that I need to be in the driver's seat. Early on, I kind of had someone that wanted to do more, and I was too naive to say that. But again, we learn, you have to make mistakes. We're human, but correcting them is where the value and the learning and the growth come.
I mean, right there, that's it. And to be unstoppable, to keep going. Even when we have those mistakes and they kind of sidetrack us for a little bit, I think it's great. I think today it's really good. I'm excited. I never really thought that this book would be as timely as it is today. We've had some pretty good things. I can't wait to get my box of books to get them out in the world. But I didn't plan to do the second version of Inspiring Women about being unstoppable. But when we started to see what people wrote, the vast majority of the authors, where they were thwarted at some point, maybe more than once or twice, and how life just evolved. I think now there's a lot of people, I think, in the conversations that I'm having with people, some of our colleagues who've really had great businesses, and the times right now, the shifting tides of, the world and business and the nature of certain things. There's a lot of, I think, what I call suppression is there. People are holding back, waiting to see all that stuff. And I think, if our book can really help keep the kindling fire going, for people to say, don't stop, keep going, do the small things. I like what you said, now I'm in the driver's seat, but I didn't do that at first. I let other people kind of take the reins, and I learned that now it's important because you've had the experience where you know who you are, you know what you're good at, you know what you need to do, and the vision and the direction of your business is very clear, and clarity breeds success as well.
Right. And something else I've shared with you, I think one of my is knowing your core values. And for me, in the top three, one of them would be flexibility. As I told you earlier, my day today is my Friday fun day, but flexibility in how I do the business. So while I say like I'm targeting event planners, I like to go to community events. I'll have a part of a women's networking group. I mean, you don't have to be, business focused all the time because I love being open, kind of like traveling, as we talked about, that we both love. That's another thing that I can work remotely from anywhere in the world. And sometimes the time difference is to my favor.
Yeah.
But it's just being open to those possibilities. If I'm on an airplane, I talk to someone, you never know. I used to start with, oh, well, let me tell you what I do. And
Yeah.
now I'm like, oh, can you tell me what you do? I want to know about you. And maybe I can help you. I love giving as much as I love receiving.
It's just great. I mean, that's like a great place. If we can love giving as well as receiving and put focus on inclusion of others rather than just me, 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 I think the world would be a better place. So I want to thank you for being part of this project. And if people would like to reach you, what's the best way, Paige, for people to reach you?
Sure. And I want to thank you, Marie, for giving me the opportunity to say yes. I've always been a big fan of yours. During the pandemic, you were a lifeline. You may or may not know I showed up at your Zoom, even though I don't think I did any of the work. I just needed that connection, and
Yeah,
it remained in my heart. Our website is www.simplyfoodtrucks.com. And we are also on Instagram, Facebook, and social media. And I won't say I work 24/7, but I'm pretty easy to get in touch with.
it's great. And who would you like to be connected to? Who are good connections for you?
Great. Well, as I said, we're nationwide, so we work all over the country. We love, people who are planning events for appreciation, conferences, event planners, administrative people, anybody who would like to create a memorable, delicious experience for lots of people. We're there to make it simple and fun.
That's really great. So again, thank you so much. And for our viewers and listeners, please reach out to Paige Nathan at Food Trucks, simplyfoodtrucks.com. Get that right this time here. And connect with her, get her book, read her chapter, read all of the chapters. We've got some
There are.
great authors. I mean, there's
I'm
some
honored. I'm honored
good
to be
stuff
in the
in there.
mix.
Yes.
It's great.
And for everybody else, again, this is Marie Fertoni, CEO of Get Clients Everywhere, and I grow entrepreneurs. And we want to have some fun out there. This is probably one of the best times ever to stick your feet in the world of entrepreneurship, and to find and hook yourself up with the people of success. As Paige said earlier, success breeds success. So with that, I want to say thank you. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you next time.